What I want the media to do on reporting child stories is that if they can't put enough stories of children in the newspaper, then why don't they make a newspaper that they can make for children's stories only, and that when they report on those children's stories they must make most of them at least to be positive. Because on what I see today, if I read a newspaper, if I find a child story, it will be negative. And if there are more stories of children, it will be like less than 20% of them that you find positive in the newspaper. So what I say is that they must look into the future and see how they report, how it affects us as children in our self-esteem, in our self-image, and how we think about ourselves.
What I would say to editors is that put more child stories, because parents of children would like to know more about other children, because like they want to raise awareness for their own children. Let's say maybe a child has been raped. Now parents want to aware their children that they shouldn't go to dark or empty places, because there might be people hiding, waiting to do bad things to you, like rape you or anything. So I want to say to editors that please put in more stories, because so that you can raise awareness to parents for their children, to find out, to know that they shouldn't be elsewhere in a dark place by themselves. They should be with an adult or someone that they trust that's older.
I feel like there's not enough children's stories, positive children's stories. There's not enough. I feel like there are more bad stories compared to good stories, because I feel like editors and journalists should report on more good stories, because I feel like there are a lot of children out there in the world who are doing good things and who are achieving good stuff. So I kind of like feel like, why aren't they putting that in the newspaper? And sometimes in the news bulletins, maybe let's say out of 7 stories, maybe there might be none or one children's story, and out of that one or more children's stories, it's always bad stories about us. And I'd like for the editors to put positive children's stories in the news bulletins and newspapers, only to encourage children that you could do good. And because I feel like if there aren't enough children's stories, maybe a lot of kids will get involved in drugs and negative stuff like that. So basically, I would like the newspapers and the editors and the journalists to have more good children's stories to encourage other kids around there to keep on doing the good that they're doing.
If I had an opportunity to have a talk show of children when I grow up, I would ask the editors, why all these years? Why weren't you putting positive stories about us instead of why didn't you put positive? Because we feel like you don't care as adults, and we'll start doing drugs and things. So if I had a talk show, I would make up for all those 30 years that we've lost of editors doing about negative things.